Hello everyone, welcome to another video. So in the last video I installed this GIVI SR1160 carriage rack on my Rebel 500. So in this video I'm going to try to install a GIVI mono-key top case onto the rack. We'll see how the installation goes. Okay, so these are the hardwares that the top case come with, provided together with the top case. There's 4 sets of each. So these clamps with the 4 spacers, I believe M6 socket head, screws with washers, and then there's 2 little screws here for attaching this cover plate onto the plastic cover adapter earlier once it's in place. So one problem that I realized when trying to install this is the provided M6 socket head screws. This length is too short. I'm going to show you why that is the case next. So the way that you install this plate on the rack is the following. This bracket would go underneath the metal rack. You would try to do your best to line up these grooves on the bracket with these beams members on the rack. Plate will go on top. Then one of these square spacer go into one of these pockets, whichever line up best with a hole in the bracket underneath. Then the washer, and then the screw. Now theoretically, on the underside, you would just add another washer and then the nylon lock nuts to tighten it in place. And then you do it at 4 locations, whichever you choose best to that line up best with the metal rack and the pockets on the plastic plate. However, with this SR1160 rack, this screw is not long enough. Now, as you can see here on top here, I have the screw going all the way down inside the pocket on top of the washer and the spacer. But down here, as you can see, the screw is not long enough. Barely pokes out of the brackets. And then also, just to tick me off even further, of the 4 lock nuts that came with the top case, one of them is missing the nylon insert. See? This one has nylon insert, a black little ring in there. This one doesn't have it. So now that we know the M6 screw provided with the top case is not long enough, we're going to go ahead and use this 1/4 inch bolt that's with a length of 2 inches with 1/4 inch nylon lock nuts and washers. To do that, the tools we need would be a 7/16 size wrench and socket. Okay, so now we are ready for the installation. This is optional, but I didn't want to scratch the paint on the rack, on the metal rack, so I went ahead and I got some hockey tape and just tape off the these 2 curves on the brackets, so that when I make contact with the metal rack, it doesn't scratch the paint off. And another thing that I realized is it might be helpful if you're mindful of which direction you place the spacer on the slot. So if you place the spacer in the pocket with the slot running this way, then that will allow you to adjust the plate along the length of the bike. But if you place the spacer with the slot going horizontally, then that will allow you to adjust the plate horizontally. So now that we have properly positioned, lining the adapter plates and fasten it in place on the rack with the 4 bolts, the last step is going to be putting the cover on. So the kit comes with these two tiny screws. They're going to put into these 2 holes. So, and the cover have these tabs that line up with these openings on the adapter plates. So just slide it in place. Okay, so that's finished the installation of the adapter plates. Now it's just putting the top case onto the plate. Again, this is the Monolock system from GIVI. All you have to do is line up these 2 hooks on the top case, these 2 openings on the plate, and then snap it in place here.